More than 100 people rallying on the steps of the historic Capitol today in Tallahassee, urging lawmakers to put more money in the AIDS Drug Assistance Program. Starting the 1st of March, Florida's Department of Health will cut about 10,000 people from this program to save $120 million. The state says that's because of skyrocketing insurance premiums and federal cuts to a grant used to fight HIV and AIDS. But some state lawmakers say the state can afford it. Our Capitol Bureau reporter Cody Butler will share their perspective coming up tonight at 11.